This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight, the Prime Minister reveals government's decision on the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Hotel. Plus, police continue the manhunt tonight for escapees of the Simpson Penn School for Boys. And we'll tell you the latest on the establishment of the Marijuana Committee.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping the news, 13 inmates from Simpson Penn Center for Boys escaped from the facility last night. While police have been able to apprehend 8 of them so far, 5 continue to evade capture. Now, police have not released the identities of the boys who remain at large. According to reports, it was shortly before 10 Saturday night when an on-duty supervisor was alerted to noise coming from one of the cottages. Now, upon making a check, he discovered an opening in the roof and a number of inmates missing. Police are appealing for the public to report any information related to this escape. Meantime, Grand Bahama's ailing economy could finally be receiving the injection it needs, as the Prime Minister confirmed yesterday that government will purchase the Grand Lucayan Hotel. No word yet, however, on how much government will have to shell out on the purchase, but according to the Prime Minister, the move to acquire the hotel is one he believes is critical to rehabilitate and restore Grand Bahama's economy.
Yes, we have made a decision to purchase the Lucayan Hotel.
It's a fulfillment of a pledge by the Prime Minister, who just 2 weeks ago said government would not allow the hotel to close and promised that if a private buyer could not be found, the government would intervene and purchase the property. While those comments drew widespread criticisms, with the opposition calling it a bad idea.
The Lucayan would close, the marketplace would close. That's hundreds of jobs. The tour buses would not have anywhere to carry the guests, if there are any. The taxis would have problems. The loss of staff from our Lucayan, the closure of the marketplace will have great impact on the supermarkets. There'll be no individuals to purchase from the supermarkets. There'll subsequently be layoffs at the supermarkets. The barber shops, one of the same problems would be the businesses would close.
Even former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham chimed in on the debate recently, suggesting government purchase the Grand Bahama Port Authority instead of the hotel as part of a more substantive plan to turn Grand Bahama's economy around. And while he chose not to respond to Ingraham's comments, Dr. Minnis insists that they're making the right decision despite this admission.
Yes, I totally agree. Government should not be in the business of owning hotel. I totally agree with that. However, government must look beyond that. Government must look at what will be the impact on Grand Bahama. Do we sit idly and allow Grand Bahama to crash, where unemployment would increase dramatically, and those individuals would have to come to New Providence, where unemployment would subsequently increase? So you have to make a decision.
Negotiations for the sale of the hotel from its current owners, Hutchison Whampoa, to the Wynn Group failed after Wynn Group withdrew its bid, citing the high final purchase price. And as for how much the Minnis administration is looking to spend on this project...
Well, I don't want to get into the finances at this particular point in time because it's an ongoing negotiation right now. So I don't want to derail it in any form or fashion. But as soon as it's completed, be assured that the entire Bahamas would know why such a decision was made.
The hotel closed its door in October of 2016 for repairs after it sustained damage during the passage of Hurricane Matthew. Nearly 1,000 people lost their jobs. The resort features 3 brands: Memories, Breakers Key, and Lighthouse Point. Freeport used to be well known as the Magic City. Today, it's marked by empty buildings and an unemployment rate that continues to creep up. Our Jared Higgs spoke to residents who told him about better days in that town.
Shervin Green is an Andros native who moved to Freeport 36 years ago. He remembers the days when Freeport earned the nickname the Magic City.
I've seen some very good days. When me, myself, I worked 2 jobs. I mean, with ease. I work 2 jobs, now I can't hardly hold one. I struggle now with 1 job. But things was so much better. You could go to the grocery store back then with $100 and you live for a month. But not now. So things have changed.
Louise, a taxi driver, remembers too. She's been in Freeport since independence and remembers the days when holding down multiple jobs in the city was the norm.
5 years ago.
Oh my God, you could have gotten 2 and 3 jobs. You could have jumped off one today and go on the other one today. But it's completely different.
Nadine Neely lost her job at the Royal Oasis nearly 15 years ago. While she has a job at Polymers now, she says it was difficult to stay afloat.
You used to making a certain amount of money and then that cut off, so you had to deal with what you make with to keep your head afloat from drowning.
The glory days appear to be a thing of the past. However, former Marco City MP Craig Moss says the old formula could still work.
If you're serious about reigniting the economy of Grand Bahama, go to what you know worked in the past. Magic City of Grand Bahama worked. Fun in Grand Bahama worked. A tourism product that was not geared toward high-end, all-inclusive tourism. That's not Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama is the destination that competes with New Orleans, competes with Las Vegas, competes to a degree with New York. It is a fun product. And so go and restart the boutique hotels, the bazaar, the little hotels. Take the hotel corporation, put it to work and let it do that. And people will be employed with the same couple $100 million you're going to spend on Grand Lucayan for years in Grand Bahama.
The government promised to end Grand Bahama's misery shortly after coming to office back in May 2017. A botched deal for the sale of the Grand Lucayan Hotel has dealt a major blow to their efforts in restoring the island's ailing economy. Grand Bahama's current unemployment rate sits at 12.4%, increasing from 12.1% last November. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
The Prime Minister also providing an update on government's move to establish a committee on marijuana. On his return from the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Jamaica last month, Minnis said a committee would be formed to embark on an educational campaign.
The establishment of the committee had been approved by Cabinet. The makeup of the committee has been approved. We now have to write the various different entities, Chamber of Commerce, University of Bahamas, COBUS, business leagues, various different entities, so that they can send their representative, inclusive of Christian Council.
Dr. Minnis says once formed, the committee will present the findings of the CARICOM Regional Commission on Marijuana to the public. He also advised that former Christian Council President Bishop Simeon Hall, who was also a part of the CARICOM Marijuana Task Force, will be a member on the local committee as well.
So they should be receiving their letters within the next week or 2, after which they would be given their terms of reference and provided with the CARICOM report. And we would hope that they would be able to complete their work in 3 to 4 months, as we have said.
Well, the government is one step closer to introducing CCTV and drone programs, according to National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who says the request for proposals process has wrapped up. We get more from our Jasmine Brown.
While the government has completed the RFP process, Dames told Our News they are still awaiting a review from the Attorney General's office.
We have any number of RFPs that have already been drafted and that are currently been reviewed by the Office of the Attorney General before we take the next step. So we've been doing a lot of work.
As a part of his 2018 policing plan, the police commissioner called for the acquisition of body cameras for officers and first responders, the expansion of the closed-circuit television program, the implementation of drone technology in appropriate areas, and the expansion of the DNA laboratory, as well as the creation of a digital media department.
That should be coming on stream very shortly, and any number of these communities that will assist our law enforcement to better be able to detect where these gunshots are coming from and triangulate and make arrests.
The government has budgeted $3 million for capital investment in its CCTV program for the 2018-2019 fiscal year.
We're extremely excited about what we have on the agenda for this fiscal period.
As it relates to the highly touted body camera program, Dames admitted they are not as far along as they would like to be. In fact, he says the government is in the process of drafting the RFP for its body camera program.
That is in this budget for this fiscal period. And it's just a matter of having the RFP prepared and sent out. So that's very much on our agenda.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. And we will take our first break here, but still ahead tonight. The Baines and Grantstown MP tells us about the programs they're using to tackle social ills in his community. Also, renovations on the way for several key departments of the hospital. Those stories and more coming up when our news returns.